In 1967, a child was born who would create a new genre of music that is only mimicked today by musical artist Philip Phillips. This newfound brilliance was of his own thought and mind, and originated from his home in South Africa, of all places. As he grew up, technology progressed quite rapidly, allowing him to witness some of man's greatest achievements and greatest failures. From pop icons such as Michael Jackson and movies like Star Wars, to the splashes of colors in the 70s and the fanny packs of the 80s. He saw it all. This man is Dave Matthews, who rose from humble beginnings to a household name through his music. In his self-titled band's second album, Under the Table and Dreaming, the work Ants Marching made its official debut as they rose to stardom through its upbeat feel and serious message. Dave Matthews was cast into the spotlight by his fantastic combination of a message supported by anecdotes, analogies, and their correlation with his friendly tone, which he channeled to persuade his audience to do something meaningful with their lives. Ants Marching is encompassed in small short stories that serve to prove Matthews' contention that our society is not what it should be, and that we can be the ones to change it. Right away in the first verse, there's an exquisite display of such ability when he says, this small snapshot of life establishes a common ground among audiences, as a stepping stone for his overarching message. Already his audience begins to correlate themselves with first this man, and then any future descriptions Matthews alludes to. Matthews follows this with a deeper story and statement when he adds, he cleverly elaborates on the previous anecdote by generating a curious situation for the audience and by demonstrating his point. By stating, "These crimes between us grow deeper," he claims that there is an issue present in this ordinary set of circumstances. He allures his audience with the idea that they can change these situations, that they can be the ones to inspire communication and break away from this ant society. Matthews also adopts another strategy within his recognizable stories, the repetition of analogy. The chorus, the title, and even the album name, Under the Table and Dreaming, all draw upon analogies that Matthews desires for the listeners to understand to the fullest extent possible. Ants Marching acts as a symbolic description of society. We pass each other on the street and don't even acknowledge one another's existence, because we are so focused on our jobs and our needs, just as ants are. He also appeals to the imagination associated with our childhoods when he says that we Matthews also repeats his statement about everyone doing things the same in lengthy emphasized bursts of emotion so that his audience will be inspired to change society. Matthews' use of analogy also extends into the heart of the chorus, which he uses to converge emotion once again. The singer-songwriter expresses that people Here he appeals to both his audience's ability to reason and their concern for the consequences of their actions. Dave Matthews implements many rhetorical devices, but his friendly tone is certainly the most powerful of all, by virtue of its allowance of his audience to make their most important connection to him. He generates his trustworthy and soft tone, partially through diction, by establishing himself as a familiar figure to his audience. A specific example of this persona is his repeated use of the line, "Lights down, you up and die." That's it, it's over. This simple statement about life's brevity showcases an honest and welcoming figure. His comfortably mature approach is most evident in his vocal presence and physical resonance when performing. Matthew's stage presence manifests itself in the form of his conversational cadence. His intonation and inflection characterize his credibility as a speaker and truly leaves the audience in awe of just how comfortable they feel taking advice from a man that they hardly know. The South African musician is certainly more than deserving of the spotlight that he has found himself in, as his power to persuade radiates throughout his works. However, it is especially apparent in Ants Marching, through his use of storytelling, analogies, and tone, in order to prompt his audience to bring originality and individuality into their lives and to do something worthwhile with them. Dave Matthews wrote this song in the 1990s, which should raise eyebrows, as the issues he addresses are far more apparent and inflamed in today's society, over 20 years later. The problems we see today, and the lack of creativity and courtesy of others, is an issue that has spanned many generations and worsened over time. Matthews' message still rings loud and true today, and it should neither be hindered nor stifled, for its ability to change the world is still ever present in today's society.